15 years.
That involved, Mr. Speaker, that involved drilling of wells, construction of reservoirs, laying of larger pipes around the island to take a higher pressure water and so on. Development has been happening so fast in this country. Development happened so fast in this country, Mr. Speaker, that water and electricity couldn't keep up with the kind of demand and infrastructure. I remember when your former company, Mr. Speaker, a telecommunications company, came around back in the 80s, I believe, and they did a survey about a fiber optic cable. They were checking to see what the demand would be. And they laid a fiber optic cable. They done replaced that fiber optic cable, I don't know how many times, because the growth of this economy and the growth of demand. Ask the same telecommunications companies about the growth of demand in cable in cellular phones. The cellular phones and the cable TV penetration per household in St. Kitts and Nevis is the highest in the entire Caribbean.
3,000 more houses.
Pam bring Digicel too? Okay. Just okay. All right. Because of Pam. Take it. You see, somebody used the word laughable today, and it wasn't allowed. That really would be, causing me to laugh, Mr. Speaker. But nevertheless, improvement of electricity capacity. One member opposite say, a week doesn't go by without blackout. But maybe weeks getting longer, Mr. Speaker. Weeks must be getting longer because I think I always tell the people in electricity, you should document and publish power outages. Publish it. And show the community that the only thing that has gone up relative to power outages is the media hype. In spite of the difficulties, unexpected or unannounced or unplanned power outages, the numbers have actually gone down. Tell them I say so. And I have not even seen the latest figures. But I know because I monitor it. I keep a check on it. Now, what are you going to say? People in the frigate may get better service than the rest of the island? Well, that might be true in some cases. But I know it ain't true in every case. But I'm telling you, the electricity service today is better than it was before the Honourable Minister Martin, Honourable Member for Number 1, took over that ministry. Mr. Speaker, don't bother talk about airport expansion, seaport expansion. A lot of money, expensive. Let's not talk about Port Zante because I tell you this ain't no time for politics. This ain't no time for politics because if I talk about Port Zante, I'm going to tell you how many times this government had to fix something that was poorly engineered and poorly built. And why it cost us $50 million to build something that should have cost 15 in the first instance. I ain't talking about hurricane damage either. Because hurricane damage coming out, I'm talking about poor engineering. So, Mr. Speaker, La Valley is going to be very well engineered when it's done. Mr. Speaker, roads, housing, roads. Over 300,000 affordable houses in all communities in St. Kitts.
3,000.
Schools. New schools and additional buildings. 50 million. The STEP program. Mr. Speaker, the STEP program, which this government brought in 1995, and which some of us in the private sector embraced and some didn't. A program which was an attempt to get young people off the street. A similar but more organized and less costly program is in place right now. But that program back then cost something like $21 million. Investing in our young people to give them skills. Some of them today are professional people as a result of that start, that head start that they got as teenagers.
You're right.
That's a fact. That's not politics.
No, you're right about that.
That is a fact.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Don't want to talk about community centers.
No, don't talk about that.
The communities that don't have a center,
Don't exist.
well, I was going to say they're vexed, but I didn't realize that they have none of them.
Everyone.
But basically a community center, health center, everywhere, it's another 20 million. Don't want to talk about sports facilities. Every community in this country, even if they have 1,000 people or less, 300 people, they want a sports facility. They have probably one community left to finish their facility, and that's out in the West Farm area. And that has been a very big bone of contention. This government is doing everything it can to, it was started. I'm the former Minister of Sport. I take the blows for not getting it done in time and so on and so on. But you know what? The member for number 3 still get elected. They say he wasn't going to get elected unless he put on that sports field, right? But guess what? He there. He ain't going nowhere.
75% of...
Okay? Let's put it this way. Sports fields no longer cause somebody to get elected or not elected. But sports fields are important infrastructure in the development of our nation, in the development of our young people. And sports fields mean a lot more when you have constructive programs that go along with the sports fields. And I could tell you, having been in there myself as Minister of Sport, what I saw had happened before I was there, what I was privileged to be involved with, and what I know that the Honourable Member for number 4 is continuing. That this government has a very impressive track record of working to move young people upwards and forwards through sport. This is in what year? This is a document here which the Honourable Member for number 2 has handed me, which speaks to this point about expenditures on social assistance for St. Kitts and Nevis. I estimated at 20 million, US 7.4 million, EC 20 million in 2008. That's social assistance. Social assistance. I was sitting in a budget estimates hearing 2 years ago, having been a minister for 3 years already. And I was absolutely stunned when I found out what these social assistance programs were, because I honestly didn't know most of them. I knew some of them. But I was impressed, stunningly impressed, Mr. Speaker, at how much this government does to reach out to the less fortunate, the same elderly, the same needy that the member for number 9 spoke so eloquently about today, who said that that's who sent him here. He said those people sent him here to speak against VAT. But Mr. Speaker, those people sent the member for number 6 and this team here to bat for them constantly for the last 15 years. And that is continuing to happen. The SSMC debt, approximately $450 million. Got there by successive governments trying to keep people employed. But once this government took it over, the opposition say you should close it. Lay off the people. Shut it down. They made it an election issue in 2004. This government shut it down in 2005 and set about an economic transformation process that the region is still speaking about.